We're probably live right now, but we're gonna give it just a sec. And this is gonna be something I'm gonna probably try and sort of have a experiment going on with other shows as well. Well, I'll probably go live after it, and maybe we can try this and see if it's better than just doing a video of sorts as well. So let me just turn on this other light, and it probably looks spooky, but we're gonna wait for people to come in. If people come in, that's great. But if not, this will just be uploaded as a video as well. I think the slide is a little bit too much, right? So let's talk about Better Call Saul season 6, episode 9. We're in the second half now, and I think this episode was really great with everything it showed, because last week's episode was definitely a lot more fast paced, but this one was very heavy. So of course there's gonna be spoilers and whatnot. So if you haven't caught up, definitely go catch up. But as we're waiting here, we're just gonna go ahead and say it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. We are on the road to 25,000 subscribers. We hit 22,000 last weekend. Hopefully we can get to 25,000 by the end of this season. But we're basically gonna talk about everything that we saw happen, because I think this episode was one of the most important episodes in the season, because we saw these four individuals actually change completely from where we saw them even at the beginning of this second half, and most importantly at the start of the first episode, wherever they appeared. So let's start off with Mike, who I think definitely is feeling the most out of everything that has happened, especially I think in this line of work he's in. He's definitely seeing how much collateral there is with everything that happens, all the decisions that one makes in this business, and he's sort of feeling that guilt, I feel, especially when he went to go see Nacho's dad. I think that was such a very crucial moment for who's Mike's character in Breaking Bad, because Mike is somebody who definitely loves his family, and I think he's just thought of the idea of what if that was somebody else going to deliver the news about him. And I think that's what's making him sort of realize this isn't exactly what I want to be doing, right? But it is where I am right now. I think the same thing with Gustavo as well. Gustavo knows that in his line of work, he really can't have a connection with anybody because they're ultimately put at risk. And I think that all goes back to when his former partner was gunned down when they went to Eladio's house by Hector. And I think the whole meeting that happened between all of them, I think that sort of kind of rattled Gustavo a bit. You could tell, and it sort of made him realize that, you know what, I don't know if I can have a relationship with anybody after this. I think when we saw him at the bar talking to that man, and he was sort of having this good time and everything, he sort of took a step back at the situation, looked back at everything, and said, in my line of work and everything I do, you won't be safe, so I can't really afford this, because I care about you and I don't want anything to happen to you, but I just can't really compromise, right, to make sure that everything will be good, because I have enemies that are out there for me, and I don't want them to come anywhere near you. So I think that's definitely something that we see there. So I think that these two characters, Mike and Gus, we really get a sort of feel for why they are the way they are in Breaking Bad when we get to see them later down the road, a little bit more cold, not as open. And I think we saw that also with the relationship that Mike and Jesse had towards the end, where Mike at the beginning of it really wasn't sort of feeling into Jesse, but we know it's because he didn't want to let him in, because if something were to happen or any of that, he would feel it be on him because of what happened with Nacho. So I feel like he's trying to distance himself more in Breaking Bad from everything and everybody, because he doesn't want more collateral damage. And I think that's why we see Gus be such a solitary character as well, because he doesn't want that damage and he doesn't want to sort of deal with that. Now the big question here we had tonight was, where exactly did Kim go? So we know that Kim and Jimmy by the end of the last episode were very rattled, and I mean, why wouldn't they? They just saw Lalo Salamanca kill Howard right in front of their face, so of course this was going to be insane for them to even reel back from it. So when they're at the funeral trying to sort of meddle in and sort of be in there and not really sort of say, hey, we know what actually happened, it sort of starts to come out in their guilt, in their faces, in their actions, and how they're around also Howard's wife when she's pretty much asking I want to know the truth. I don't think Howard was on drugs or anything like that. I think something else entirely happened. And I think we see Kim definitely have a change in her when she's going to back up Saul about what exactly happened, as he's sort of like sweating himself about when he's getting questioned about what exactly happened to Howard by his wife. And she goes on to pretty much make up a story of how she saw Howard using drugs a year prior, and this sort of like, I think this is the breaking point for her. As we see them leave, she just leaves without a word to Jimmy, and pretty much the next day quits as an attorney. And then we ultimately see her tell Jimmy that she's done with everything, and we see her things packed up and she's just ready to go now. And that's pretty much where we end off things before we skip to the present time, well, sort of present Breaking Bad time, where we see that now Saul is pretty much living this lavish lifestyle, and he's just like hooking up and all of that, and he's sort of like the Saul we know from Breaking Bad. So I think that definitely did show us a little bit about where exactly his mental state was after all of that. I think that we definitely pick up on the next episodes just in present time, which is what we talked about before. As we said, there were definitely going to be times where we're going to see exactly the moments leading up to where he sort of has to leave, and then also catch up into the present time where we see him as Gene and see where that story really ends off for him, because I think that's his complete ending there. Beforehand, we had really just seen him, and now we understand why this character is the way they are and everything that's happened to them, but now we're really going to see where it ends. So like I said, I think that this is definitely going to end in not the best light. I think that we are definitely going to see, I don't know if we see like Saul or anything like that pretty much like die or anything like that. I was very much so not thinking that Kim was just gonna get up and leave at any point, but eventually that's what we saw. So that was a very interesting take they took right there. But overall, like I said, I thought that the episode was great. I thought that this definitely showed where these characters are and why they are the way they are in Breaking Bad, and eventually leaving us to believe they are the way they are because of the actions that we saw happen in Better Call Saul and everything up until then. They definitely are not like, they're more broken, I think, and they're definitely more cold-hearted. That's definitely what I got from this episode. So let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on it down below. As always, as I said, I'm definitely going to be covering more of the episodes. I think in the next episodes we'll see Jesse, and we'll see Walter, as well, as now we are in the Breaking Bad universe like timeline of all of these things. So I'm definitely expecting to see them in the next episode, and I think we'll definitely get to find out some more things we didn't really know about them and Saul as well from Breaking Bad. I feel like the last two episodes will definitely be more in the present time with Gene working at the Cinnabon and all of that. But I think the next two episodes are going to be focused on some hidden details about the Breaking Bad universe, because I think we'll definitely see Walter and Jesse in those two episodes as opposed to just in one episode, because I remember them saying it was just going to be one episode, but now they're saying it's more than one episode. So I think that's definitely what's coming next, and I think the last two episodes will just focus on Gene and what's going to happen with him, because there has to be some conclusive ending to him, right, as well. So let me know your thoughts and your opinions down below, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. This video will be up as well if you missed like the first complete part of it, because we just talked over about the whole episode and everything. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing live shows for this as well in the future, but we'll definitely be doing that. And yeah, I think we'll definitely see with Kim and all of that, and her taping up, and Saul with that lavish lifestyle. I think that we are definitely just going to be in the timeline where we ended this episode with Saul in the Breaking Bad time, and then also in the future with Gene where we started off things. So I'm definitely expecting all of that to be the final episodes, because yeah, there's definitely, I think everything's wrapped up for all the other characters, and we really see where they are because of all of the actions that happen. So yeah, let me know what y'all think. This video will be up, so if y'all missed any part of it, it should be up, and we'll have more theory videos coming up pretty soon. I want to appreciate everybody. This is the first time I've done this like for a show. I'm definitely thinking about doing it for next week's episode, so if this definitely does good. I'll do it again, and I appreciate everybody watching. We're on the road to 25,000 subscribers.